Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Laura and this is So Very Laura. So today I thought I would bring you an update on what's come into my sewing room recently. And when I say recently, I'm really talking about over the past 5 months. So I've looked back in my vlogs and I think the last time I showed you any fabric was March. I showed you what I bought when I was on my sewing retreat and probably also on my cruise. But since then I haven't done many vlogs, as you know, and therefore I haven't shown you what I have been buying. So I'm going to show you some fabrics and some patterns, and also one book and one handy dandy little tool that I got yesterday that I thought you might like to see. But before I start, let me tell you what I'm wearing very quickly. I am wearing one of these Sew Over It shirt dresses. I think this is the Alex dress. I'll put it down below. It's in one of the Sew Over It books, and I made it 2022, something like that. So I'll pop a full-length picture of me in there. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing. And the other thing I wanted to show you before we start on the fabrics, you'll remember last time that I showed you all the lovely sewing related gifts that I'd been given, but I forgot one. And so I wanted to show you this because it's so lovely that it really deserves an airing. So it's described as a pin cushion, but it's so lovely that I'm not sure I dare put pins in it. So it is a handmade pillow from a 1940s quilt and vintage lace. And this was sent to me by my lovely American pen friend, I guess, who I met on Ravelry through knitting, really. And we've corresponded ever since. And she sent me this as part of my birthday present earlier this month. So, and I just think it's so beautiful. So it will definitely live in my sewing room. Whether I dare put pins in it, I don't know. It is plain on the back, but I just thought that was beautiful, and it's been hand sewn. So I thought you might like to see that. Okay, so let's get cracking. So I'll start with fabric, and what I'll do is where I know that what I'm going to sew with that fabric, and I've bought the pattern recently, I'll talk about the two together. Other than that, I'll talk about patterns at the end. And excuse me if I keep looking down because I've got Stash Hub open on my laptop to remind me of some of the details. So roughly I will do these in the order I got them, more or less. Okay. So let me start with Rainbow Fabrics, who had a 30% off sale a little while ago, and I bought 3 fabrics from them. So the first one is this denim, which is called a black and white bandana denim. It's not got any stretch in it, and I got 3 meters of it, and I'm going to try not to whack my mic on my lapel with the fabric, as we know that I have a history of doing. So I'm going to try very hard to keep everything on this side. So yeah, non-stretch. I really liked it on screen. I'm fractionally nervous about it in real life, and don't ask me why. But I really got it to make a wearable toile of some jeans for me, because other than the Itch to Stitch Mountain View jeans, which are pull on, and which, if you've watched my vlog about the sewing retreat, you'll know I really don't like. I haven't made any jeans for myself. And I have got the Sew Over It Ultimate Jeans pattern, and I've also got their Stitch School class on jeans making that I got at the time. Ultimately, there's another jeans pattern that I want to make, which is one of the big 4 ones. But I'm on a bit of a weight loss journey at the moment, and I'll tell you a bit more about that when I talk about my makes and plans. But I don't want to use my really good denim to try that pattern until I'm sure that I'm at a size that I'm going to stay at. So that was the intention of this fabric. I think it'll be fine. And I think also, because I'm going on holiday soon, if I get the jeans made for then, which I doubt really, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And obviously I needed to make them in something of the right kind of weight. So yeah, if it all goes horribly wrong, doesn't really matter. And you know, I've got to live a little, haven't I? So that's my first fabric. This one, if you thought I was worried about that one, this one I'm not at all worried about, but I maybe should be. I just saw it and couldn't resist it. So it's quilting cotton, and I will probably make a shirt or a top out of it. I got 3 meters of it, but as with all quilting cottons, it's very narrow. And you can see it's a superhero who I'd never heard of, called Luchadora. In fact, I think Luchadora might be their, I don't know, group. And it says things like, fight like a Luchadora, Luchadora strong. And I bought this at a time that I was just starting a fitness program. And I kind of thought, you know, oh, strong women. So I got that, and I like it. And I just think it's really fun. So yeah, I got that one. So, and then the third fabric is one that I think a lot of you will have seen before. And if you watch my last vlog with Mandy, Make It So, that we did, we recorded most of it together after we'd been to the Festival of Quilts. You will know that Mandy bought some of this fabric at the Festival of Quilts, but she's got 2 slightly different shades. And we don't know whether it was a fault with the printing or whether they are 2 slightly different shades. I got this when there were only something like 8 meters left on the website, and I got terrible FOMO because I'd seen Kate from Ripper Seams make a skirt out of this, and I think it's beautiful. And with 30% off, I thought it was a really good chance to grab myself a bargain. And again, I got 3 meters of it, and it's a cotton sateen. And I do know what I'm going to make with this. But I am not going to tell you because, as you might have heard Mandy and I say in our vlog, we're going to do a collaboration on this fabric. So I am going to wait and tell you when we do our intros to our collab. But I think we both want to get it sewn up fairly quickly, so that should be coming soon. So that was all I got from Rainbow Fabrics. So let me move those out of the way. And then the next one I got, I can't remember if it was in the sale or not, but it was basically too cute to resist. And I think this came from Dalston Mill Fabrics, and it's supposed to be 3D, although I can't actually see it. But it's these really cute little lambs you can see on there, and it's you see it's jersey. So I think this is going to be a kind of thinnish kind of sweatshirt, probably, maybe something like one of the Tiana's Closet free sweatshirt patterns. Is it the, I want to say the Bailey with the puff sleeves that Sam Sequin Girly made? I might give that a go in this. It's not, as I say, it's not full sweatshirting, it's just quite thin jersey, but I just really liked it. I think it's super cute. So I shall be making that up really as we move into autumn. So that was all I got from Dalston Mill. I'll double check. I'll put links to everything I talk about down below, and I'll put links to the fabric if you can still get it, and if you can't, I'll just put links to where I bought it from. Okay. Next up we have Lady McElroy. Now I've actually bought 2 fabrics from Lady McElroy since I last talked about new fabric, but the other one has already been sewn up, it pretty much came into my sewing room and got sewn up within a couple of weeks because I wanted to wear it for a special occasion. And some of you might have seen glimpses of it because I did wear it to the Festival of Quilts. So I'll show you that when I show you my recent makes. So let's just concentrate on the one that hasn't been sewn up yet. And this is called Lady McElroy Chicago Polaroids, and it's a Marley Care cotton lawn. And it's just these amazing images of Chicago on a black background, and I just think this will look fantastic sewn up into a dress. So yeah, I just need to get on and find a pattern and make it, because I think that'll look stunning. I think it could make a really nice dress that you could wear for a special occasion, or you could just wear every day probably in the autumn winter because of its darker colouring. So yeah, really like that one. Found it, couldn't get it out of my head, and bought it. So that was my Lady McElroy purchase. Doing quite well, only been going 11 minutes. Right, so that's Lady McElroy. And then in June, the Fold line had their, what's it called, Sewing Weekender, which I sign up for every year because it has some really interesting vlogs by people, and also there is always a virtual goodie bag. So I signed up, and one of the discounts was with Fabric Godmother. So I have been looking to make some leggings. I do have some that are ready to wear, but because I am now doing this fitness program, which I will talk to you more about in due course, I find that I'm chucking my leggings in the wash every 5 minutes, so I really could do with some more pairs. And Fabric Godmother had some activewear, swim and sportswear lycra in, and this is Liberty Deadstock. So you can see it's just these pretty flowers on. I think it's a black background. It's called Midnight, so it's called Liberty Corsica Swim Sport Floral Tapestry in Midnight. And so I am intending to make some leggings with that, and I think I've got something like 1.7 meters of it. I might be wrong, but I've definitely looked to see that I've got enough to make the leggings that I want to make. And the leggings that I'm going to make, this isn't a brand new pattern for me, though I haven't made it before, but I already have it in my stash. It is the Resolution bottoms from Love Notions, and I want to make the leggings, possibly the Moto ones, I'm not sure. So I'll pop the line drawings up here so you can see, and I've already had that pattern printed out, so hopefully I will be getting those made up very soon. So that was bought with a specific pattern in mind. Right, next up I have a couple of fabrics, one of which has already been cut into, but I will show you because I haven't finished making it yet. So you might remember, if you've been watching me for a while, that I went on holiday on a cruise in, I think it was March, to the Caribbean, and we've been on a lot of cruises over the years, and up until very recently they always used to provide you like a waffle robe that you could wear around your cabin, which we found really useful if you've come in out of the sun, if you've been in the port or you've been sitting outside, and you come back and you're all hot and sweaty and covered in sun lotion and you just want to get clean. So you jump in the shower, but you don't necessarily want to get dressed for the evening immediately. So we found these robes really useful for just sitting around in. And the last time we went, there weren't any robes in the cabin, and we asked for some and got told that we couldn't have any because we weren't in a suite. So I decided that, because quite often we go on cruises from Southampton, and we're not flying, so we're not worried about baggage weight, it would be a good idea to make some lightweight waffle robes that we could take with us. So that's what I'm doing. And also, we don't really have summer weight dressing gowns anyway, so not a bad thing to have for here either. But I went online and had a look around for waffle fabrics, and the best ones I could find were from Minerva's core range. So I've got it in a couple of colours. So, oops, this one is for me. So it's called Jewel on the website. And it's a kind of, depends what light you look at it in, it's a kind of emerald blue, emerald green kind of tealy colour, which I really liked. And so that's the one I've chosen for me, and you can see I haven't cut that out yet. However, I have cut one out for my husband, so you can see this is just what's left over, and I was working on his robe yesterday when I went down to the Southern Social, which is run by Sam Sequin Gurley, and so I've cut his out already, and his is this kind of rust colour. It's coming up better on camera today. I did nearly film a bit about this the other day when I was cutting it out. It wasn't coming up great on camera, so maybe the light's a bit better. But yes, it's definitely a kind of rusty colour. So the pattern that I am making, I did buy specifically to make these robes, so it is a recent input into my collection, and it's a Helen's Closet pattern, and I bought it when she was having her birthday sale a little while ago, and it is the Arbutus robe, which is unisex. So I'll pop a pic in up here, and we are both having the shorter version of the robe, so it's just something that we can put on when it's hot. So we're both having the one with the shorter length, pockets on the front, and the short sleeves. So yeah, so I'm busy working on those, ready for us to go on holiday, because we're going on holiday again next month. So I've started his, and I will be trying to get on with mine when I've done his. So that is all the fabrics that I got from Minerva. And then all the other fabrics I've got are slightly out of order, but I put them together because they're all pre-loved. So they've either come from a swaps table or I've bought them on a de-stash. So the first two I'll show you are from a de-stash account called, and it's either Andy's, I think it's and I sew, but I'm not sure if she's called Andy. I'm not sure that she is. But they're both viscose. So this is the first one, which I think is really pretty. And I'd been looking for a fairly bright, multicoloured fabric, because I really like the idea of making a nice loose shirt for the summer, or probably summer holiday now. And I'd actually been looking at ones with geometric patterns on, because I'd seen one on Shine/Temu, and absolutely no way will I buy from them. So I was hanging on, trying to find some fabric that I could make one in. And then up popped this on the de-stash, and although it isn't geometric shapes, I just thought it was so lovely. It's got so many different colours in it that I thought I had to have it. So I've got that, and I think I've got 2.5 meters of it. It's not as wide as it looks, because it has a massive selvage down one side. So in terms of usable fabric, it's probably about did I get it to something like 135, something like that, but it's fine. I'd quite like, if I can, to make another Paper Theory Patterns, forgotten the name of the shirt. I did it for the Busy Bee last year. I'll pop it down here because that's quite nice. and loose, or I might even make the shirt version of this dress because it doesn't have any darts. I'm wearing it with a belt at the moment, but if I sized up and left it loose, I think that would be nice and roomy as well. So that's the first fabric I got, and then the second one is also a viscose, and there's 3 meters of this, and you can see it's ditzy. So it's these lovely purple flowers, little tiny purple flowers on a black background, with kind of white leaves and little specks. There's little specks of brown in the leaves. And this is not identical, but when I was younger, I had a big floaty skirt with it had a big, probably plastic belt, but it was a maxi skirt, and I really loved it. And I think actually it was fruit on it. I think it was something like raspberries or blackberries rather than flowers. But this, for some reason, just really reminded me of that skirt, which I loved. And so I got that thinking that I'd quite like to make something like either a wide maxi skirt or perhaps even a dress. And I think that was on the D-Stash account for £8. So yeah, bargain. And I really like it. I just think it's so pretty. And I think it's ditzy in a nice way. So yeah, I got that. Don't have any specific pattern in mind yet, although I have found 1 or 2 that I am thinking of making. So yeah, we can talk about that more when I get around to sewing it up. So that was all the fabrics from And I Sew and I Sew D-Stash. But actually, before I forget, I will also show you that I bought from her D-Stash the Chloe pinafore from Tilly and the Buttons, which I've wanted for a really long time and never actually got round to buying. So when I saw that come up as well, I thought I'd take advantage of her de-stashing and get that for myself as well. I do have some cord in my stash already, some purple cord. So I might do it in that, or I might possibly, I'm just looking, it says fabrics, see left and below. It says heavy or medium weight woven fabrics that hold their shape, such as denim, corduroy, cotton drill, gabardine, canvas and wool. So I'll see if I've got some denim that is not quite as stretchy and isn't my good denim to make the jeans, which I don't want to use. I might try it in that first, but we'll see. So yes, so and the other thing that I got from the lady who did the D-Stash is she very kindly sent me a couple of buttons that she'd obviously bought in order to do the dungaree straps. So she very kindly popped those in for me as well. So that was really kind. So let's just have a quick drink. This is fruit tea. I mean, who even am I? It's normally coffee, as you know. Right, that's better. I was getting a frog in my throat, all this talking. Right, so this I got yesterday on the Southern Social Swaps table, and it's described as a Baroque ikat fabric, and it's a knit, and it is stretchy. I reckon it's got about 30% stretch. It is slightly see-through. I mean, you can, I don't know if you can see me. Hello. I can see through it. I can see my screen through it, and I can see the window through it. But I think it'll be fine. Certainly with a camisole underneath it, it would be fine. So I'm thinking about what to make with it. It will probably be maybe some kind of a loosish jersey top, I think. I'm not sure I'd want to do one that's very tight in it, because I think it might be really clingy, and at the moment I don't think I've got the confidence to wear anything really clingy. I think that might come maybe in about 4 or 5 months if I'm lucky, but we'll see. But I just like the colour. I love this tealy green, and I think it's quite a striking pattern. So, and I think I've got something like about 1.5 meters of the full width, and then there's tails. You can see there's tails on the end. So yeah, so that was the first thing I got. And then the second fabric I know came from, it was on the swaps table, but I know that the lovely Mandy Make It So put it on there. And it's this scuba in a kind of, well, it's not completely black, it's kind of like a gunmetal grey, I suppose, I think. And then it's got these little tiny dots on it, which could be white or could almost be pink. And I quite like scuba, as long as it's not too hot so I don't get too sweaty. I have made things in scuba before, and so I picked that up because I thought that would make a really nice dress for the winter. So yes, so that was, I was fairly restrained. That's all I got from the swaps table yesterday. So that is all my fabric. You can see I've now got this massive pile and my hands are only just below where the camera has come. So on to patterns that I've bought but I haven't already mentioned. So I will just pull up the right screen on my stash hub so I don't forget anything, and then I'll come back. Well, that took longer than I intended because it turned out that my laptop battery had gone, so I've just had to whiz around and plug in my extension cable. But nevertheless, I am back. Now, all the other standalone patterns that I've bought since I last told you what I got in the way of patterns are PDF, apart from the Tilly pattern that I've just shown you. And also I managed finally to get this. I have been looking out for this for ages in charity shops, and I finally found a copy secondhand online. So it's the Fashion with Fabric sewing bee book, which comes from years back, but I have seen Jess, for example, So What If I Sew, makes some really lovely clothes from this book. And you can see on the back of the patterns, so it comes with these patterns that you can trace off, or also I've found you can download them online, but you just don't have the instructions. So for example, that dress is the one that I made for, what did I make it for? It was for a challenge. I can't remember what challenge it was, but I will link the name of the pattern down below. What on earth was it? I can't remember, but I made it in a scuba. So I'll pop a pic of it in up here, and I'll try and put the name of the challenge down below, but I really can't remember what it was. It might have been So Frugal, because I probably already had the pattern. I can't remember. So yes, I really like some of the patterns in this. This one here I have already made in a scuba, so I'll pop a pic up here of that, because you are able to find the patterns to download for free online, but you just don't have the instructions. So I had managed to make that by dint of a lot of guessing and also following a sew along that somebody had written up. So as I say, I got this online in the used books section from Amazon, but I had a couple of false starts, because the first twice, and I must say I thought it was cheap, all they were selling was the pattern pack, which wasn't terribly helpful without the book. So the first time I said I wanted to return it, and I got my money back, but they said I could keep it. And then the second time I just didn't bother, and the third time I was lucky. So I've actually got 3 lots of the patterns, so that's really good, because it probably means unless they're actually printed on top of each other, which they could be, but I might take a punt and just cut some of them out from here. So yeah, but in particular there's a set of capri pants in here that I really want to make. See if I can find them quickly. Where am I? It's the shell top capri trousers. There you go. So I think they're really nice. So I've eyed those a few times. So I managed to get that after much searching and false starts. And then everything else, as I say, I bought in PDF format. So one of the first couple of patterns I got was from a small pattern company based in Australia called The New Red. And I discovered her because I answered a call to pattern test for a new pattern that she had out, which was called the Roxy top, which is kind of a boxy short sleeve top, which comes with a V-neck or a round neck. So I'll put a picture in up here. And I wasn't selected to test, and I asked her for some feedback as to what I could do to help me get picked to do tests in the future. And she was really helpful, so big shout out to Amy for being helpful. So she came back with some advice about photographs and things. And so when the pattern came out, I bought it anyway. And I have actually cut out the paper pattern. I just haven't cut out any fabric for it yet. And I also bought a set of wide leg trousers, which I'll put a picture in as well, called the Frankie pants, which are shown made up in quite a bright light summer fabric. So I thought I'd give those a try as well. Sadly, she's currently paused her business as The New Red. I think she also used to design and produce fabric and clothes. I'm not sure, but I think she's decided she's not necessarily going to produce more patterns. And at the minute, she's having a break from her business. So sadly, you can't get the patterns anymore. But I decided I liked them and I wanted to support her, particularly because she'd been so helpful. So I got those two. And then Stylark had a sale where they had 30% off all their trouser patterns. And so I took advantage of this and bought some that I'd had my eye on for a little while. So the first one is an older one called the Thea pants. So they're a kind of slightly paper bag waist with a belt and quite wide, but also quite smart looking. So I got those. The other two are much more recent. So I bought the Bob pants, which are slightly barrel-legged with an elasticated waist. And I know Sam Sequin Girly has made them quite a few times. And I like the look of them and I wanted to try the barrel legs, so I got those. And the other pair I got were the Twig pants, which are similar kind of shape, but they've got a fly front. So I'll put pictures of all of those in here. And then what else did I buy? Just having a look to see. I've already mentioned that I bought the Arbutus robe from Helen's Closet, and at the same time I also bought a jacket of hers called the Pona jacket, which is a kind of short boxy jacket, kind of cropped. And the reason I got that was there was a television programme on Sunday nights, certainly when around the time I bought the pattern, and it starred Timothy Spall as an actor who played a detective who ended up solving crimes in the village that he'd retired to, along with this young female police officer. And not everybody liked the series, but my goodness did I like her jackets. So I decided I was going to buy the Pona because I really like this style of jacket. So I bought that, and then I think that might be it, apart from yesterday Love Notions had a flash sale on their patterns, and so I bought their new pattern, which is like it's like cargo pants, or you can make them as shorts, or you can make them as trousers where there's a zip, so you can unzip, and it's in the middle of the leg, so you can unzip the bottom of the legs and turn them into shorts, which I thought was quite nice. And they've got a fly zip, but they're elasticated at the back, so I thought they might be quite nice. And I've totally forgotten the name of the pattern, and I haven't downloaded them or put the details on Stash Hub yet, so I'll pop that across the screen. But the other pattern I bought from them at the same time was the Largo Cargos, which I think are a bit more kind of relaxed. And I thought, well, you know, maybe an informal looser pair might be quite nice as well. So I got those at the same time. So I think each of them was something like £4.50 in English money. And I think that's it. I can't see anything else. Yeah, I think that's it. I think the only other pattern I've got recently is the bag pattern I bought at the Festival of Quilts. And I've been buying Burda magazine, but if I went through all those, we'd be here forever. And I've been going for 36 minutes. So hopefully editing Laura can splice this in somewhere in the vlog. But I forgot one thing that isn't a pattern and it isn't fabric, but it is new in my sewing room. And that's this. And this is a craft knife that I bought yesterday from a local stationer's. So it almost looks like a fountain pen, except you've got this blade. And this is an X-cut craft knife, and it was something like £7.50, and you get 4 spare blades as well as the one that's in it. And I got it because when I cut out PDF patterns, it's always quite slow with scissors and it's not that easy to be accurate. And so what I've been doing more recently is changing the blade on my rotary cutter to an old blade, cutting out with my rotary cutter, and then changing the blade back to my current fabric blade and then cutting my fabric out. But I found it a real nuisance to have to keep switching backwards and forwards. So I thought I'd give a paper knife a go. And actually, I didn't find it too bad. So I've popped in some footage of how I was using it, just so that you can get an idea. But I actually found it quite easy to be accurate. So when I started, I was cutting straight lines by lining it up with a ruler. But actually I found if you took your time a little bit, it was easy enough just to do it freehand, and I think it was more accurate. Of course, you can't do this if you don't have a self-healing cutting mat, because obviously it would go straight through the paper and scratch your table. But I've already got cutting mats, so I think if you use a rotary cutter anyway, you're going to be all right getting one of these. So let me know how you cut out your paper patterns. I'd be really interested. Yeah, so I will go back to past Laura and hopefully she'll say goodbye to you. So I'm going to close this here. If you've got any thoughts as to what you think I should make with any of those fabrics, please do let me know. Or if you've made any of the patterns that I've talked about. And if you've enjoyed my content, please do give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. And I'd like to close by saying a big thank you for the warm welcome back that I got with my last vlog. And thank you to all the lovely people who subscribed. I really do appreciate you all. So I'll close for now, and hopefully I will be back with a Make Some Plans vlog very soon. Bye for now.